I thought I was married to the perfect woman, until I found her wedding ring in the trash, next to a positive pregnancy test. Something's wrong with our happiness. I've been married to Amelia for 3 years. We were together for 2 years before that. 5 years of memories, inside jokes, late-night drives, birthday surprises, quiet Sundays, and whispered forevers. She wasn't perfect. Neither was I. But I loved her the way you love something you built with your own hands. Flawed, a little cracked, but still beautiful. She made our apartment feel like home. Lit candles for no reason. Painted every wall with sunlight and jazz. I worked long hours at my auto repair shop, and she supported that. She designed interiors, freelanced. We didn't have a big life, but we had a safe one. Or so I thought. It started small. Subtle. She began keeping her phone face down. Nothing obvious. Nothing scandalous. But different. The way she smiled at texts. The way she replied, then locked the screen fast. The little shift in tone. She stopped wearing her wedding ring. At first, it was practical reasons. It gets in the way when I'm working on mock-ups. I left in the bathroom. My fingers swollen, probably from salt. I didn't want to be paranoid. I didn't want to be that guy, the jealous, insecure husband. So I swallowed it, again and again, until the trash told me everything. It was last Tuesday. She was out meeting a client, a new restaurant downtown she was helping redesign. I stayed late at work, then stopped to grab groceries. When I came home, I noticed the trash bin was full. Overflowing, actually. I pulled the bag out, tied it, opened the outside bin, and there it was, right on top, a small, familiar white box. Soft velvet, her ring box. It was open, empty. Next to it, a crumpled pregnancy test. Clear, 2 strong pink lines. I didn't even breathe. I stared at it for what felt like minutes. My brain went dead silent, then screamed, "She's pregnant." She threw out her wedding ring. And she didn't tell me. I dropped the trash bag and walked back inside like a zombie. The walls suddenly felt like strangers. The photos on the fridge looked like memories from a life that never actually existed. I sat at the edge of the bed, stared at the floor. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Was the baby mine? Did she mean to throw out the test and the ring? Did she want to tell me? Or had she already made up her mind? And the question I didn't want to ask, who's the father? Part 2, a name I wasn't supposed to see. That night, she came home humming, smiling like it was just another day. She kissed me on the cheek and said dinner, like the universe wasn't collapsing behind her eyes. I nodded. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed more. More than a ring box and a test in the trash. More than suspicion. Because if I was going to burn my life down, I needed to be absolutely sure. So I waited, watched the observation phase. She acted normal, almost too normal. Told me stories about the client, this high-end sushi bar downtown. Said the owner was complicated, but passionate. Said she might be spending a lot more time there. I asked for the name of the restaurant. She hesitated a beat too long. It's called Kairos. I wrote it down in my head. The next day, I stayed home sick from work. When she left, I went straight to her tablet. She rarely used it, but it was synced with her phone. No password. A blessing and a curse. I message. Most conversations look clean, except one. A thread at the top. Just a single letter. J. I opened it, and that's when I felt my stomach twist. The messages. J. He doesn't know, does he? Amelia. No. And I can't tell him. Not yet. J. We need to talk in person. Amelia. Not safe. He's been quiet lately. I think he suspects something. J. You sure it's mine? Amelia. There's no question. I stopped breathing. There it was. The confirmation. She was pregnant. It wasn't mine. And Jay knew. Hell, they both knew. And I was the idiot playing house. But the worst part? She was still coming home every night. Still saying, I love you as she kissed me. Still sleeping next to me like she hadn't detonated a bomb and buried the pieces under our bed. The name. I needed to know who Jay was. So I kept digging. Checked her calendar. She had a meeting scheduled 3 days ago. Caro's site visit. The owner's name? Julian Reyes. I Googled him. Early 40s. Restaurant investor. Previously owned several bars. Slick Instagram. Expensive clothes. Smile like he knew he could have anyone, and probably had. He was married once. Divorced 2 years ago. No kids. Until now. The switch flips. Suddenly, everything added up. The ring off, the secrecy, the client work at Kairos, the test in the trash. She wasn't confused. She was planning. She was removing me from her life quietly before I even realized I'd been replaced. And I couldn't help but wonder, if I never found that test, would she have ever told me at all? I couldn't sleep. Not a second. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them together, Amelia and Julian, in some dimly lit restaurant back office, his hands on her hips, her lies dripping off her lips like honey. I wanted answers. Real ones. Not text messages. Not silence. Face-to-face truth. The confrontation. I found Julian easily. He posted publicly on Instagram a story of the Kairos bar that morning. I drove there. No warning. No plan. Just rage. It was mid-afternoon. He stood near the bar, talking to a bartender, sipping espresso like he hadn't broken someone's life. I walked up and said his name. Julian. He turned casually, with the practiced charm of a man who's never been punched when he deserved it. Yeah, I'm Amelia's husband. His face froze for just a second. Then carefully, okay, you want to talk? I nodded. We sat in a booth in the back. You know she's married. You knew about me. He didn't deny it. Didn't even look ashamed. I did, but she said you two were over. She said she stayed because she didn't know how to leave clean. I laughed. Cold. Clean? She's pregnant. He blinked once, then leaned back. I know. The twist. He looked away for a moment, then back at me, and said something I did not expect. But I'm not the father. Silence. I stared at him like he just said the moon was made of glass. What? We slept together, yeah, a few times. It was physical. I knew she was confused, and I didn't care. But she told me she thinks it's someone else's. Now I blinked. What do you mean someone else's? There's another guy, one of her clients. She told me after we stopped. Said things got too messy. She's not talking to him either now, supposedly. I was stunned. So, you're telling me my wife cheated on both of us? He looked down, ran his hand over his jaw. I think she's spiraling, man. She lied to you. She lied to me. She's not okay. The realization. I walked out of there dazed. I came to destroy the man who stole my wife, and instead, I found a mirror, another broken fool wrapped in her web. I sat in my truck for 20 minutes before calling her. She answered on the second ring. Hey, babe. Like nothing happened. Like we weren't standing on the edge of hell. We need to talk. Now. She met me at home. Same robe. Same perfume. Same soft voice trying to stitch together a life she'd already torn apart. But this time, I didn't sit on the couch. I stood, arms crossed, wall between us. And she knew. You talked to him, she said. Julian, I can see in your face. I nodded. He says he's not the father. She bit her lip, hard, looked down, then said something I didn't expect. He's not lying. The shatter. I stared at her, cold. So there's someone else. Another guy. She nodded slowly. Yes. Who? She hesitated. You don't know him. His name is Daniel. I worked with him once. A private client. He was going through a divorce. We bonded. You bonded? I made a mistake, she snapped, suddenly defensive. It was one time. I was overwhelmed. I didn't think. You didn't think. You threw your F*** king marriage in a dumpster. Her eyes filled with tears, but I couldn't care less anymore. The truth she didn't want to say. I didn't plan for this. I didn't plan to fall apart. I was happy. But then I started feeling like I was disappearing. Like I was just your wife, and nothing else. You were always gone. I was lonely. So instead of talking to me, you cheated? I didn't mean to cheat. I meant to feel something. And then it happened, and I hated myself. But Daniel, he didn't even want a relationship. I thought it was over. And now you're pregnant, with his kid. Silence. Then she nodded. The cut. I sat down. Everything in me numb. And the ring? Why'd you throw it out? I didn't mean to. I was holding the test, and I panicked. I thought, maybe this means I don't deserve to wear it anymore. You don't. That hit her like a slap. She dropped to her knees. Please, please don't leave me. I made a mistake. But I want this baby. I want you. I'll do therapy. I'll do anything. I still love you. The dilemma, and the worst part, I believed her. Or at least, Part of me did. The same part that once stood at the altar and said forever. But the other part, the part holding all the broken glass, screamed at me to walk away. She betrayed me, more than once, with more than one man. And now, she wanted me to raise a child that wasn't mine. Hourglass not done, the ultimatum. I need time, I said. You don't get to cry your way into forgiveness. Not this time. She nodded, quiet, still on her knees. I left the house that night, drove until I ran out of gas, sat on the hood, stared at the stars, and asked myself one question over and over. Do I still love her? I didn't have the answer. I didn't sleep that night either. I kept thinking about the baby, about her, about Daniel, the man who, in one mistake, fathered the child my wife was now carrying. I needed to hear his voice, not for revenge, not for answers, for clarity. The call. I found his name through her client database. He ran a boutique architecture firm in the city. Clean website. Big smile on the bio page. Way too polished. I emailed him from a burner account. Simple. I know about you and Amelia. We need to talk. He responded in 15 minutes. We met at a cafe near his office. He recognized me immediately. Guilt all over his face. I was hoping I'd never meet you, he said. I stared at him. Then maybe you shouldn't have kid my wife. He nodded, didn't argue. Look, I didn't know she was married. Not at first. We worked together on a redesign for my studio, and she flirted. It felt harmless. She didn't wear a ring. And later, she told me she was in the process of ending things, that it was a dead marriage, that you were roommates at best. My hands clenched into fists. So you slept with her? Yes, once. It wasn't romantic. It was messy. She left the next morning. The bombshell. And now she's pregnant. Daniel's eyes widened. Wait, what? You didn't know? No. She says it's yours. He stared at me, stunned, then leaned back, rubbing his face. Jesus. I got a vasectomy 2 years ago. I blinked. What? Yeah, I had it done after my divorce. I never wanted to go through custody hell again. I have the paperwork, the follow-up tests, everything. So there's no way it's yours? Zero. I felt cold spread through my chest like ice in my veins. Then, whose baby is it? Daniel just looked at me. That's your question to ask her. But from what I'm hearing, man, you might not be the first. Or the last. Everything crumbles. I left in a daze. 3 men, 3 lies, and none of us knew the full truth. Amelia wasn't just confused. She was spiraling, manipulating, hiding, and I'd let her sleep beside me all this time. When I got home, she was in the kitchen, making tea like nothing had happened. I dropped my keys, looked her dead in the eye. I talked to Daniel. She froze. And he's sterile. She didn't speak, didn't blink, just stood there, staring. So who's the father, Amelia? Who the F*** K is the father? She didn't speak for a full 30 seconds, just stood there, holding her mug of tea like it was the only thing grounding her to the earth. You talked to Daniel, she finally said. Of course she did. He had a vasectomy. Amelia. She closed her eyes. Tears welled up, but I wasn't sure if they were from guilt or exhaustion from keeping up the lies. Then you already know. No, I don't. I want you to say it. Out loud. She sank into a chair at the table, set the mug down, and whispered, It's someone I met before we were married. Someone I ran into again about 4 months ago. We saw each other. Once. My head was spinning. You cheated on me with someone from your past? Who? She looked up, her face pale. His name is Ian. He was my ex. The one before you. The one I never told you about. Ghost in the closet. I remembered vaguely. Early in our relationship, she'd mentioned an intense ex, someone who moved away. She'd said he was a mistake, not worth talking about. Turns out, he wasn't gone. He was just waiting. You never told me you still talked. I didn't. Not until I bumped into him at a coffee shop. It was random. He asked if I was happy. I told him I was, but I wasn't. Not really. So you slept with him. It wasn't about sex, she whispered. It was about me. How I felt, like I was still wanted, desired, like someone saw me again. I saw you, Amelia, every damn day, and you spit in my face. The mirror. You were a good husband. she said suddenly, voice shaking. Better than I ever deserved. And I ruined it, because deep down, I didn't think I deserved to be loved the way you loved me. So I sabotaged it, like I always do. I stared at her. For the first time, she wasn't crying to be forgiven. She was crying because she finally saw herself clearly. Receipt the letter. She handed me something. A sealed envelope. I wrote this after I took the test. Before I knew what I was going to do, before you found out, I wanted to give it to you if I ever had the courage. I opened it. Inside was a letter, short, handwritten. If you're reading this, I'm gone. I couldn't bear to lie anymore. I destroyed everything good in my life. And if I disappear, it's not because I don't love you. It's because I love you too much to make you stay in this wreckage. Balance scaled the decision. She hadn't left, but she was ready to. Do you want me gone? She asked quietly. I looked at her. Not the woman I married, but the woman she become. Tired, hollow, but, for once, honest. And I realized something awful. I didn't hate her, but I couldn't stay. Not anymore. I want peace, I said. And you're not peace anymore. She nodded. I packed that night, left the apartment, left the ring on the counter, right next to the mug she never finished.